Did you know? Every 66 seconds, another senior is diagnosed with dementia. That number isn't just a statistic. It's real faces, real stories. It could be a neighbor, an old friend, or even you, or someone you love. Many people believe dementia is simply the result of aging, that the brain just naturally wears down. But sometimes the truth is far more unsettling. I want you to picture this. Right there in your medicine cabinet, maybe even on your nightstand, could be a silent culprit. Pills we've been told are safe, routine, and necessary might actually be shrinking the very parts of the brain responsible for memory. Research shows that in less than a year, some of these drugs can reduce memory capacity by over 28%. One of my patients, Eleanor, 72, once came to me trembling with fear. "Doctor," she said, "I couldn't remember my grandson's name." At first, everyone thought it was just normal aging, but when I reviewed her prescriptions, I saw she was taking a common pill for allergies and sleep. We once believed these pills were harmless. In reality, they can act like memory thieves, quietly stealing away precious pieces of who we are. And it doesn't stop there. A recent study revealed that certain medications can raise dementia risk by 49% in just 2 years of use. I know hearing this can be shocking, even frightening. But I share this not to scare you, rather to help you face an important truth. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, head foggy, forgetting what you were about to do? Or found yourself behind the wheel, suddenly unsure of the route you've driven 100 times before? That's not always just aging. Sometimes it's your body sending a signal, a warning to look again at the medications you take each day. Today, I want to walk this journey with you, not to add more fear, but to give you knowledge and hope. Because drug-induced dementia can be prevented and sometimes even reversed if we recognize it early enough. My friend, let's go a little deeper. I want to share with you some medications that may seem harmless, but in reality can quietly steal away memory and clarity. Don't worry, I'm not here just to sound an alarm. I'll also give you safer alternatives so you can protect that precious brain of yours. 1. Diphenhydramine. Benadryl. Have you ever reached for that little pink pill to sleep better or calm your allergies? Millions of people do, but in the brain, Benadryl blocks acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that helps us learn and remember. One study showed that regular users had a 54% higher risk of dementia. I once met Richard, age 68. He told me, "Doctor, I can sleep, but during the day my head feels like a fog." It was Benadryl slowly fading his memory away. 2. Proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, Prilosec, Nexium. If you've struggled with heartburn or reflux, you may have taken these. But here's the problem. PPIs interfere with the absorption of vitamin B12, magnesium, and calcium, nutrients critical for memory. In a study of more than 73,000 people over the age of 75, long-term PPI users had a 44% higher risk of dementia. I remember Helen, one of my patients, who came in worried about constant forgetfulness. It wasn't Alzheimer's. It was the result of years on Nexium. 3. Bladder control medications, oxybutynin, ditropan. I understand the frustration of frequent bathroom trips, but oxybutynin crosses the blood-brain barrier and directly affects the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. Research shows that long-term use increases dementia risk by 49%. I often tell my patients, there are many ways to manage bladder issues, but once memory is gone, it's much harder to bring it back. 4. Statins, simvastatin, Zocor, atorvastatin, Lipitor. We often hear cholesterol is bad for the heart, but it's also an essential building block for the brain. Lower it too much, and the brain lacks what it needs to maintain the myelin sheath, the protective coating around nerves. A 2023 study found that seniors over 70 who had taken high doses of statins for years had a 26% higher risk of cognitive decline. One patient described it to me this way: "Doctor, I forgot the route of a road I've driven all my life." 5. Benzodiazepines: Valium, Xanax, Ativan. At first, they feel like a lifesaver, calming anxiety, helping with sleep. But over time, they become a chain. A study following 8,000 people showed that using benzodiazepines for more than 3 months raised Alzheimer's risk by 51%. The problem? When you try to stop, anxiety and insomnia often come back even stronger. I've seen so many patients trapped in this cycle, unable to break free. 6. Amitriptyline, Elavil. This is an older antidepressant, sometimes still prescribed for nerve pain or insomnia. But it's a strong anticholinergic. Long-term use raises dementia risk by 54%. Many people just want a good night's sleep, not realizing they're trading rest for memory. I'll never forget one elderly patient who told me, "I slept deeper, but when I woke up, I felt like I wasn't myself anymore." 7. Paroxetine, Paxil. Among SSRIs, Paxil stands out for the wrong reason. It's the only one with strong anticholinergic effects. That means it interferes with short-term memory and focus. A 2021 study found that older adults taking Paxil were 30% more likely to develop early cognitive decline. The irony? It's prescribed to lift mood, yet it often leaves the mind even cloudier. 8. Antipsychotics: Quetiapine, Seroquel, Risperidone, Olanzapine. These were originally meant for serious psychiatric conditions like schizophrenia. But today, many nursing homes use them to control sleep problems or behavior in the elderly. A study of 25,000 older adults showed a 71% increased risk of cognitive decline within 12 months. On top of that, they raise the risk of stroke and sudden death. I remember visiting a patient, a sweet elderly woman. After just a few months on one of these drugs, her eyes looked vacant, her spark was gone. It felt like her soul had drifted away. 9. Anticholinergic polypharmacy. This is the silent danger almost no one talks about. Imagine one Benadryl for sleep, oxybutynin for bladder control, and amitriptyline for pain. Individually, each carries some risk, but together, they create what we call an anticholinergic burden. A massive study of 280,000 seniors found that those with the highest burden had a 120% higher risk of dementia within 10 years. The tragedy? Most patients had no idea they were even at risk, because each pill seemed justified. But together, they become a toxic cocktail for memory. 10. Z-drugs, modern sleeping pills, Ambien, Lunesta, Sonata. Marketed as safer than benzodiazepines, but they're no true friend of the brain. These drugs often cause groggy mornings, confusion, and a higher risk of falls. For the aging brain, chemically induced sleep isn't healing sleep. It's a trick that leaves memory weaker with time. 11. Older antihistamines, chlorpheniramine, hydroxyzine. Still sold for allergies, still thought of as harmless. But they too are anticholinergics. In seniors, they can cause confusion, dry mouth, constipation, and most importantly, memory loss. I've seen patients come in worried they were getting forgetful, only to find the culprit was a bottle of over-the-counter allergy pills. You see, the problem isn't just a single pill. It's the way these risks accumulate quietly, year after year, until one day you realize your memory isn't what it used to be. The most important thing I want you to remember is this. This doesn't have to be permanent. Medication-related dementia can often be prevented and even reversed. By reviewing your prescriptions, asking questions, and choosing safer alternatives, you can protect your memory and preserve your clarity for the years ahead. My friend, after hearing all of this, you may be feeling a little worried. I understand. It's not easy to accept that the very pills we've trusted could turn into silent enemies of our memory. But I want you to hold on to one truth. There is always hope. Drug-induced dementia is not a life sentence. It can be prevented, and in many cases even reversed, if we act in time. One of my patients, James, age 74, once found his memory slipping away. He even forgot his wife's birthday. When we reviewed his medications and made a few changes, something amazing happened. Just a few months later, he began recalling family stories he thought were gone forever. He looked at me and said, "Doctor, I feel like I got myself back." And you can too. The first step is simple. Take a close look at your medicine cabinet. Read the labels. Write down everything you're taking, prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, even supplements. Then bring that list to your doctor or pharmacist. Ask directly, does this affect my memory? Is there a safer alternative? Don't hesitate. This is your right, your health, your future. Second, never stop a medication suddenly. Each step should be guided by a healthcare professional. Sometimes, lowering a dose or switching to a safer option makes all the difference. And finally, I want you to remember this. The human brain has a remarkable ability to heal. When the burden of harmful medications is lifted, clarity can return. Memory can brighten again. Growing older does not have to mean losing yourself. It can be a time to slow down, to savor, to remember, and to love more fully. So right after this video, I encourage you, take another look at what you're using each day. Because sometimes, just one honest conversation with your doctor can open a brand new chapter, one where your memory is protected, your mind is sharp, and your later years are lighter and brighter than you ever imagined.